Welcome back, Data Sharks. If any of the map tasks in Sqoop export fails for some reason, it will still continue by default and load partial data in destination table. To avoid this kind of issues, Sqoop export offers loading data first into a staging table, and if everything is good, then copy the data from staging to final table in relational DB. This of course takes more time as you are doing twice the number of writes on the disk. But it improves data integrity if that is something your application cares for. There are two directives provided for this. Staging table, which is the name of the intermediate table that will be used for temporarily storing the exported data. And clear staging table directive, which indicates that staging table can be cleaned afterwards. In this lesson, let me first show you what will happen if one of the map tasks fails. And then we will run this command using staging table and see the difference. So let's bring the terminal up. So in our last lesson, we had loaded data in employees CTC nodes table and it has about 1000 records. So to simulate the failure in map task, what I'm going to do is delete all the records except the first record in this table. So what will happen is when we run the Sqoop export, since the data is same, it will have the same primary key for the first record. And when it will export the data into MySQL, so whatever mapper will be having that one record and try to write to MySQL table will be rejected, and so it will fail, while all other three will be successful. So after the export is done, we will have about 750 records and 250 records will be rejected because just one record was having the same primary key. So entire map task will be failed and no data will be loaded from that one mapper. So I'm going to simulate this. In order to do it, let's first delete all the records from this table. So delete from employees where employee ID is greater than 1. Alright, so I deleted all the records. Let's just make sure we have only one record. Alright, so we have one record, okay, the first record in our database. Now I'm in Sqoop session and let me run the same Sqoop export command that we ran in the last lesson. So here I'm loading again employees CTC nodes table on MySQL. So 4 mappers are allocated and you will see that one mapper will fail. Okay, so as you can see here, failed map task is 1, total tasks were 4. So 3 tasks were successful and 1 failed, and we have about 754 records successfully exported, while about 250 records were rejected because of that duplicate employee ID. So as you can see, Sqoop has the tendency to export partial data also, okay, and this may not be the requirement in most of the cases. You want to roll back, okay, either copy everything or do not copy at all, okay. So in order to achieve that kind of behavior, we need to use 2 other directives provided by Sqoop. So let me clean this table. Okay, let me first show you that we have more than one record now. All right, so let's clean everything and just keep one record like we had before and run the new command and see what happens. Oops, I missed where clause. Alright, so now we have one record in the table. Okay, cool. So let me run this again, but this time we will run with the staging table and clear staging table directives. Okay. Alright, so our table will be employee CTC nodes. It's employees CTC nodes, and our staging table will be employees CTC nodes staging. Okay, and we can clear it afterwards. Okay, and we also need columns. Just employee ID, first name, last name, and CTC. Okay, and input fields should be terminated by pipe, and we need driver. Now run this. So I keep typing these commands again and again in all the sessions just to ensure that you get chance to write them on your end, and if you are trying to run them in parallel, you can also do that with me. So it's saying that I should not be using driver. Let's try it without it. Let's see if it works. Okay, so now you can see that it failed to empty staging table before an export run. Okay, and it is because the table does not exist. So we need to create this table first. So let's do that. Let me take the name of this table. So we create this table, create table, and it will have same structure, employee ID CTC, teacher, it's a primary key, CTC, which is float, first name is varchar 40, last name varchar 40, and nodes varchar 200. Alright, so this table is created on MySQL side. Let's run this again. So again we have 4 mappers. Now what it is trying to do is first cleaning the staging table before loading the data into staging, and if everything is good, then it will load the data into the final table. So now you can see it's saying that failed to move data from staging table. This is because we already have a record in the final table which is a duplicate for the data that is coming from Hive now. Okay, so this is like a complete rollback and no data is loaded. So let's quickly verify that. Okay, as you see that we only have one record that we left in there and no new record was added. So this kind of scenario is very common in real productions where you do not want to load partial data. You always want to have 100% loading, and in those cases make sure that you use these directives staging table and clear staging table. Okay, try this out on your end and let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.